Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Crack That Turning Problems into Solutions. This is me, Priyasha Das, and today in this video, we'll be covering the part 4 of the top 30 most important para jumble questions. And in this section, we'll be taking the CAT PYQ. Previous video, we have covered the XAT PYQ, so now we are doing the CAT PYQ. And as you know that in CAT examination, the para jumbles come in the form of theta questions. So let's get started with this quickly and see what all can we do. And remember one thing that the first approach should always be searching out for the opening sentence and उसके साथ आने वाले हर इस link को connect करके we will be finding out our answer. So looking at for the first question, again repeating the same thing as all in all my videos, that if you are watching this for the first time, you know that you have to first go and find out the PDF in the description box or the Telegram group, and from there you have to first solve it on your own, give it a first try, come back and then watch the video. It will be more productive and useful for you. Zyada learning hogi for sure. All right, so you can get started with doing it on your own first and then watching the video. That would be really beneficial for you all. And इस बार starting में बोल रही हूँ that if you really like the video, please like it, and the most important thing is to share this, and if you are new, then please subscribe as well. Let's get started. Number one sentence says that business finds automation such as, okay, such as means you're giving examples to someone, and examples will never be the first line of my paragraph. But in recent years cannot be the first line of my paragraph. For years, politicians have promised. Okay, so this is a perfect opening sentence because here they are stating us that for years something has been promised to us, but it's actually not happening, can be a good thing. So let us get started with number three. For years, the politicians have promised workers that they would bring back their jobs by clamping down on trade, offshoring, and immigration. Along with it, if we read the fourth line, economists, based on their research, say that the bigger threat to jobs now is not globalization but automation. Well, this is very well in connect with what we just now said, that years politicians have mentioned this, but अब हमें new problems का सामना करना पड़ रहा है. So three and four is pretty connected. Now remember, the new problem is not globalization but automation. So since the new problem is automation, we need a connection with automation itself. All right. So here comes automation. Number one, where businesses find automation, robotic employees, a big asset in the terms. So we got our continuation. But in recent years, robotics. So perfect combination is 3 4 1 2. इसी तरह के छोटे छोटे keywords की help से ही हमें connection बनाना है, and we have to make sure that we are passing out this section very peacefully. एकदम center of mind में peace होना चाहिए, वरना पैराजम्बल्स का सही बनना बहुत मुश्किल है. Number two. Number two question, we will do it quickly. Let's find out the opening sentence. It is regimes of truth. Not really. Relationships are nothing without communication. A good introduction जहां आप relationship के बारे में एक brief दे रहे हो. A Falcaldian approach to the relationships. This is again a part of the description to relationships. So this is not my opening sentence, but very much connected to sentence number two. So I know कभी भी sentence number two में रखूं, it will be followed by sentence number three. Reconsidering micro practices within relationships. Again, this is a description of relationship, a consideration, or कह सकते हैं एक second stance. So we know that our sentence will start with a two, and because three is definitely following two, so अब हम देखते हैं कि three के बाद क्या आना चाहिए. So a Falcaudian approach to relationship goes beyond these conceptions of discourse and history to macro level regimes of truth and constituting relationships. Okay, perfect. It is regimes of truth. All right, regimes of truth. Regimes of truth. Perfect connection between three and one. So मेरा closing sentence four हो गया. ज़्यादा दिमाग लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है. We can move to the next question here. Next question number three says, restitute of artifacts of original cultures could face legal obstacles as many Western museums are legally prohibited from disposing of their collections. Well, this is definitely not my starting sentence. Then this is his response, not my starting sentence. Museums in Europe, of course, one and two both are talking about museums in description, but introduction तो हमें museum का मिला ही नहीं. Introduction हमें number 3 में मिल रहा है. If you carefully observe that museums in Europe today are struggling to come to terms with their colonial legacies, some taking steps to return artifacts, but not wanting to lose their prized collection. That's the basic problem. This introduces the topic at hand, remember, okay, that they are losing their legacy. Now, what follows three? Two should follow three because it is providing us the reason why this development is taking place. In response to the countries in Nigeria, there are pressurizing European museums to return their precious artifacts by colonizers. इसकी वजह से they are losing their legacy. So 3-2 are a perfect pair here. Now, one क्या कर रहा है इस current situation को further describe कर रहा है कि किस तरह से legal obstacles आ रहे हैं. So the perfect combination here would go as what? 1 and then last में बच गया हमारे पास 4. So we are left out with the answer over here, which is 3214. Now moving back to the fourth question and changing the color of my pen both at the same time. Now, but today there is an epochal challenge. But today से कभी हम शुरू नहीं करेंगे. We are at a crossroad now in our vision and practice of development. Well, this is quite convincing to me because जब तक हम किसी dilemma में नहीं आते हैं, हम उसके बारे में describe नहीं करते हैं. So this sounds correct. Let's see the third one. This calls for cultivation. Definitely not my opening sentence. Half a century ago, development began as a hope for the better human possibility, but in last 50 years, this hope has lost itself. Well, this looks correct, but the problem here with this statement number 4 is that statement number 4 is giving us a detail about one of the things we have been talking about at the crossroads. If you are more specific about it, just try to understand that in number 2, we are getting introduced with what we are going to talk about in the remaining part of the paragraph. That is a watershed moment. Okay, let's say example vision and practice of development के बीच में हमें किसी एक चीज को चुनना है and then we are going to talk about कि practice of development में क्या होता है और vision में क्या होता है. That makes sense. All right, now we are going to search for a mandatory pair here. So अगर हमने टू को ओपनिंग सेंटेंस मान लिया तो सबसे पहले हम एक क्रोनोलॉजी फॉलो करेंगे. हम पास्ट के बारे में बताएंगे एंड उसके बाद हम धीरे धीरे प्रेजेंट पे आएंगे. तो पास्ट और प्रेजेंट का परफेक्ट कॉम्बिनेशन है 4 and 1. पास्ट हाफ अ सेंचुरी अगो एंड प्रेजेंट टुडे की हेल्प से रिप्रेजेंट किया गया है. तो ऐसी छोटी छोटी कीवर्ड्स होती है जो आपको बहुत ज्यादा हेल्प करती है अपने आंसर को फ्रेम करने में, स्पेशली व्हेन इट्स अ टीटा बेस्ड क्वेश्चन where you have no options. Okay, so the last option of course is number 3 because 3 ही बच गया. So the answer is 2413. Now let's go to the fifth question. In the fifth question we see that we have to find out for the opening sentence. Look forward a few decades to an invention. आगे देखने बोल रहे हैं future में, not an introduction. To gain meaningful insights, logic has to be accompanied by probing questions. ये कोई process का description है, definitely not my opening sentence. The greatest of all inventions to the Uber is the Uber invention. Yes, a perfect introduction. Greatest of all intro, बहुत बढ़िया है ये. Let's take 3 as the opening sentence. This invention is inconceivable without the scientific method. अच्छा ठीक है, तो इसमें हम लोग ऐड कर रहे हैं कि इस तरह के inventions possible नहीं है without scientific. Now, what should be the correct order? हमने opening तो निकाल लिया that Uber invention is the greatest invention of all times, provided the insights on which other depends the modern scientific method. All right. Now, you have to be very sure that you have to find out a pair which will claim that the modern scientific method must be the greatest of all the inventions and then talk about its mode of inquiry कि हमने कैसे inquire किया था. Okay, one then represents an invention that could solve many problems in the future. Like for example here, figure it out. to gain meaningful insights. Read this carefully. Logic has accompanied by asking probing questions. Okay, so this makes a clear-cut combination between 3 and 2, जिसमें हम modern scientific method को prove करना चाहते हैं as the greatest of all inventions. फिर हम ये बोलेंगे कि किसकी help से हो रहा है ये. How is it happening? It is number one statement is representing that the invention could solve many problems in the future, and so it's a continuation of this. And the last one is finally the conclusion one कि invention would have been impossible अगर scientific method से हम proceed नहीं करते तो हम लोग नहीं बोल सकते कि खाली invention Uber का directly कहीं से आ गया वो scientific methods की वजह से ही आया है. So the answer here is 3214 again. Now, question number 6 is what we have to do right now. We'll quickly follow that up. So, in question number 6, what we are going to do is read and find out the opening sentence first. The US has long maintained that Northwest Passage in an international strait through which its commercial and military vessels have right to pass through without seeking Canada's permission. So that means that this is not a case starting because ये किसी चीज को further describe कर रहा है. Number two, Canada, which officially requires a group of islands. Okay, this looks opening sentence. Forming the Northwest Passage in 1880, claims sovereignty over all the shipping routes. Okay, it is claiming sovereignty, and that is the reason maybe we are discussing all this thing. And then we will definitely talk about कि पहले क्या होता था और या फिर यूएस का क्या स्टैंड है इसमें. यूएस ने बहुत टाइम से इसे मेंटेन करके रखा है और अब सडनली अगर कनाडा आके ये बोलेगा कि सब कुछ मेरा है तो डिस्प्यूट्स क्रिएट होंगे. So this is quite understood that one follows two. All right. Two mentions that Canada claims ownership on the passage, and one mentions that the counter claim of US. Okay. Now we have to find out the other pair and कैसे वो pair combination में रहेगा. Let's read the 3 and 4. The dispute could be transitory, however, as the scientists speculate that the entire Arctic Ocean will soon be ice freeze in summer. चलो इसको ये तो मुझे काफी ज्यादा कंक्लूसिव लग रहा है. So let's go to the fourth one. The US and Canada have never legally settled. Perfect continuation. कभी भी legally settle नहीं हुआ है, but dispute is transitory. That is the third statement. 2143 is the correct pair. Now let's move to the second last question for the day. Here we are left with four statements जहां से हमें हमारा opening sentence निकालना है. The work is more than the text or the text only takes on life when it is realized, and furthermore, the realization is by no means independent of the individual disposition of the reader. Quite a descriptive sentence. Then the second is the convergence of text and reader brings the literary work into existence. Again, a description. From this polarity, it follows that description, or from this, so definitely we're talking about some polarity. Number four, the literary work has two poles. Now you got this. हमेशा हम ये introduction में ही रखते हैं that there are two choices. We're going to discuss both of them and come to a conclusion. So definitely number four is going to be my opening sentence here where we are talking about two poles, all right, and which might call the artistic and the aesthetic. The artistic refers to the text created by the author and the aesthetic to the realization accompanied by the reader. Now from this polarity, यानी इस division के through, the literary work cannot be completed identical with the text or with the realization of the text. They must be halfway between the two. दोनों की जरूरत properly हमें लगती है. Now, two builds on this assertion and says that the convergence of the two brings the literary work into existence. दोनों को मिलाने से ही literary work मिलेगा. So that is two, and the last statement is number one. That brings us to the last question for the day, guys. Let's get started with this. In the central nervous system of the other animals. Okay, other animals. That means this is the second example, not my opening sentence. Biologists from the University of something have discovered a unique rapid form of regeneration in the injured neurons and their function in the nervous system. A perfect intro for me. So I will start my answer with a 2 for sure because सबसे पहले हम आपको कॉन्सेप्ट से इंट्रोड्यूस कराते हैं कि बायोलॉजिस्ट ने क्या खोजा. अब इससे फायदा क्या होगा? They studied the Martinier cells which are solely responsible for the escape behavior of the fish and previously regarded as incapable of regeneration. So ये स्टडी का description है कि इसमें कौन से exact cells हैं जो कि regenerate करते हैं. However, their ability to regenerate crucially depends on the location of the injury. कहाँ चोट लगी है, okay? In the central nervous system of other animals, such a comprehensive regeneration of neuron has not been proven beyond the doubt. So this brings us to the final answer, 2341. And with this, let me tell you that those who have been following the videos on this channel carefully would have realized that we have completed the 30 most important parajumble questions for all your MBA entrance examinations. तो अब इन पारा जंबल्स को करने के बाद आपको ये चिंता नहीं होनी चाहिए कि मेरे जैट का वीए बनेगा या नहीं, या कैट का वीए बनेगा या नहीं। सारे एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स के वीए बन जाएंगे, सारे एंट्रेंस एग्जाम्स के पैरा जंबल्स बन जाएंगे। क्यों? क्योंकि आपको उसकी कॉन्सेप्ट का पता है। आपको पता है कि कैसे ओपनिंग सेंटेंस को खोजते हैं, आपको पता है कि कैसे लिंक बनाते हैं, आपको पता है कि कैसे आंसर फाइनलाइज करते हैं। So I'll repeat again, if you like this video, definitely like this. Most important thing is to share it with more and more people across so that they are able to know about this channel where a girl is getting up early in the morning, keeping her assignments and class and presentation aside and doing a little bit more for you people. So definitely please subscribe to the channel if you're new, and if you are already a part of our channel, then share it as much as you can so that more and more people know about this channel as well. Thank you so much for watching this and all the best. अच्छे से पढ़ाई करो. We'll come up with more videos where we will take up 30 important questions from every section possible. Thank you so much.